What's up guys, it's Eli here with Night Jiu-Jitsu, and I have a guard passing video today. And this is spawned from a lot of questions that I get about different guard passing things, and so I want to show different types of guard passing. And these are all going to work on similar principles, similar concepts, and I want to give you those as a framework to go around so that you can have those as kind of a checklist to go through whenever you're guard passing. And then after practice or after competition, you did something right, you did something wrong, you can go back and kind of have a grading rubric to apply to it using these principles and concepts. So we're going to start from kind of basic, fundamental, foundational kind of things. Now we can divide this immediately into a couple different types of passing. So if I'm starting from passing, and this is going to be primarily focused on already an open guard situation where she is either sitting or supine. So if she's sitting or supine, that will determine the kind of guard passing options that I have. If you want to find out about like closed guard stuff, that's a different video. I have other information on that, and I'll put more information on that in the future. But for right now, if we're starting from this seated position like this. Now, what she's wanting to do is she's wanting to essentially control inside position and start to make her attachments on me. I want to deny those attachments, because if she gets those attachments in a way that is conducive to her, like if she starts to get like a 2-on-1 of some kind, she can start pulling me in to her guard systems, and then she's going to be able to attack me, sweep me, take my back, submit me, whatever. So I don't want any of that to happen. So I want to stay out of range, and I want to keep my hands kind of close. I can have a staggered or square stance depending on what my passing options are. Now, if she's seated, she has all of her weapons in front of me. She has the ability to kind of pivot around as I'm trying to approach and cut different angles. So this is going to be one of the more difficult things to start to approach. Now, if I want to make my job a little bit simpler, I guess, I can put her into a supine position if she's not there already. How do I accomplish that? Well, that's a good question. Now, I can start to pick her ankles up, or I can push her upper body down. So I can either lift her bottom half up and put her on her back, or push her upper body down and put her on her back. I think that a combination of those two things works best. So that means that rather than just pushing up here or here, or just grabbing here, if I do a combination of those and push up and pull up from the bottom as well, now I've put her essentially into this supine position. From her back now, she's going to typically have one side that she's going to favor. What she wants me to see is she wants me to see the V shape of her legs, and she wants me to see those retracted. That means that she's closing off spaces for me to be able to pass around her guard pretty efficiently. She's also showing me the bottoms of her feet until she starts to make attachments with those feet. If she starts to make attachments, she's going to start hooking like this, and so that she can start pulling herself in closer to start getting grips, or she's going to post with these to keep me away if she needs to do that. Some combination of those two things, posting and hooking, is going to start to give her push-pull mechanisms that are going to help her to sweep me eventually. So that's why I want to deny all these attachments. I would like to stay out here, and as I approach, I want to stay out of distance for her to not be able to make those attachments right away. From here, when I actually start to think about how I'm going to pass, that means I need to keep her restricted, and I need to decide what's going to be the most effective, conducive way to pass her guard. Do I go through the middle? Do I go around one side or the other? Or do I go underneath, essentially? And I'll show you examples of each one of those. Now, if this is a matter of that I can keep her legs kind of stuffed in like this, so I'm going to go somewhere around either ankles or higher up. That will be determined on what she's trying to do. Is she trying to extend, or is she trying to compress? And then that will determine whether I get what kind of grip I'm gonna get. So these C-clamp kind of grips here like this, if I'm posting here on her shins, then that's gonna allow me to be able to see how much I can move her. And so this might tell me right away that I could do something like a Toreando or X-style pass. If I go to do that, then what that's gonna look like is I'm gonna start to cut an angle out here. When I cut an angle here, I'm gonna keep my hand on the hip. I'm going to keep my elbow flared like this. I want to start pushing down and posting on her leg like this here, so that she can't extend and get attachments, right? With my upper body, I want to get inside this space, inside the box right here. So I'm going to start leaning in heavy and make her carry my weight, right? From there, if I can just push her legs to the side, then maybe I can go ahead and pass around to the side just like that. So that might be one of the most readily available types of passes. Sometimes whenever I go to do that and I get off to the side, and so she sees here that I've got her hips kind of bound up, her legs kind of bound up, she's going to be framing with her lower body, or sorry, with her upper body, and she may even start to pummel in with her top leg like this. If she goes to do something like that, I need to be ready for it. So as she goes to pummel that leg inside, I may be able to grab that leg here and then use that as an opportunity to go over to the other side for a leg drag. So this is now the concept of how we start to combine passes. And it's one thing to combine passes all to one side, but if I start combining one pass style to another pass style on the other side, now she starts to become more overwhelmed with all the different passes that are coming at her. It's a little too much for her to process, and she's in a pretty movement restrictive position if I'm playing my cards right. Now, that's how we would pass to the outside, something with like a Toreando style passing or a leg drag style passing. If I want to pass through the middle, then that might be something like a knee cut style pass. A knee cut style pass being if we're here like this, and then from here, I'm able to cut that angle here this way. I'm seeing that I'm not having success going around to the outside, so I'm gonna go back to square her up into more of a headquarters style of pass. A headquarters is where I'm essentially straddling a leg and I'm stepping in nice and deep to her leg that's closer to the ground. This is keeping her hips bound up, and so now she's gonna tell me what kind of pass is gonna be available to me. As soon as I get here, a lot of times this compresses her to one side, so to relieve that compression, she starts to square back up, and then that gives me the ability to start knee cutting on my way through. That's when I cross my knee cut to the other side, so it winds up by her hip or her side, here like this, and then I wanna make sure that I'm not allowing her frames to keep me restricted back, and then now I can start working that leg back here like this and completing my pass, as it were, right? Also available from this headquarter style passing, not just the ability to knee cut in a certain kind of way, but also to do things like float passing, where I start to hook inside ankle to ankle with her, and then that way I can start to extend her leg back out of the way, slide possibly right over to mount, or from here, slide off to like a knee ride type of position, here like this, right? Now, so we see that now from this headquarter style position, I can cut for a knee cut, I can float right over the top into a knee ride or into a mount position, or possibly even go into like a knee weave or a side smash kind of position like this, to where my knee is woven through the middle like that here, right? From that position, if I can start to get over here, especially if I have an underhook or I'm around the back of her, then now I can start to look back here, start to control here, and not allow her to follow me while I finish out my pass to that first side. So that's a good example from headquarters of how I can pass one direction or the other, but these are all essentially going through the middle this way. As an example of another way that I can pass by going under the guard essentially is something like a double under pass. Double under pass being if whenever I start to come inside here and essentially my hands weave down and inside and then get around her two legs like this. I connect my two hands here and then I'm gonna smash and stack up nice and high. I wanna keep my arms down, connected low by the base of her legs here, and then as I start to commit pressure here like this, I'll essentially get a hold of a trap on one side, hold the leg on the other side, and make her support my weight, smash all the way through this way, right? Now, one more quick variation on how I might be able to accomplish that type of double under pass like that is whenever we're here, if I feel like she's trying to really fight me, keep my hands separated apart, start to pull her legs out, squirm away from me in some direction, then something that I can do is drop to one of my elbows, and then I can do a sit-out style pass like this. The issue with this here is that there's not a great answer, not a great response for her to be able to scramble, come up, sweep me, anything like that. Because the more she starts to give me tension on her legs on either side, she just helps to facilitate my ability to pass out one direction or another. So that's a modification on a double under pass that we can look at doing as well. If you guys are getting good information from my videos, then I would really appreciate it if you like, subscribe, share it with your friends, do all that stuff, keep watching, subscribe, all that. So those are all types of supine passing, but if I want to pass directly from when she's seated like this here, then again, I still want the ability to not allow her to get her connections to me, not allow her to get her feet or her hands, not to create frames if I can help it. So depending on the space that she's allowing, I might be able to go off to one side or another. It may be something to where I can do a modified Toreando style pass if she's sitting squarely here like this, then she doesn't have a lot of good lateral balance. So if from there I start to shoulder post out here like this, or even head post, but shoulder post, and then start to scoop the leg here, then it might be something as simple as just running off to the side that way. Sometimes if she makes the mistake of overextending and reaching and then opening up a gap of space inside here, then one of the simplest things that I can look to do is take a step right through the middle, right there. So I bypass her knees and get all the way to her hips, because that's something essential for guard passing. I've already killed the opportunity for her to post her feet or hook her feet on me. I've cleared the knee line and now I clear the hip line. I'm already into my knee ride position or into my side position. similar to that, where we do the cross step pass, I can also do a knee cut in a similar way. And what that basically entails is that I see the opportunity in the space, or maybe I've created that space here. Instead of stepping into the middle, I can go from out here and I can shoot my underhook at the same time here this way. And so essentially I'm accomplishing that same kind of knee cut, but more of like a flying knee cut, as it were. And you'll see those in competition with different levels of dynamics. You know, somebody like Andy Varela will have a very dynamic, like flying knee cut sometimes, and sometimes it's a little more subtle and a little more incremental. But either way, it can be extremely effective, obviously. Now, something else that can happen as well is if she's sitting here like this and I can get her to post, so I push her over to the side, and so that she doesn't just fall onto her side, she posts either on her elbow or on her hand, either way, then I know that if I've got weight on that arm, I can dive and completely bypass the guard altogether sometimes, because she's committed to the seated position, but she's also posted her weight over on the side. So if I take that same collar tie that I use to make her post that weight, sometimes I can just dive straight over there, and then I'll wind up rolling straight in to a Kimura opportunity. So we've essentially set the Kimura trap on that dive. Now, instinctively, what most people will try to do, they'll immediately try to turn up onto their side facing me so that they can scramble and try to win the top position. Now, using this though, here, and keeping that Kimura connection, then she's not allowed to turn and face me and get that chest-to-chest connection that she wants. Because the more she starts to turn up onto her side like this, she starts to give me space underneath her. Now I can jam my knee inside, get my top hook, and then from here, I can start establishing my back control position here like this. So that's another style of passing where we can just dive completely over it. It's a little risky, and it's a little bit more athletic, but again, it's one of these conceptual styles that rather than going outside, over the top, underneath, we just fly by it altogether. All right, so if you guys got any good information out of this video, or even if you didn't, then still make sure that you like, subscribe, share, leave me a comment about some other guard passing concepts or questions that you might have, and I really appreciate you guys watching my channel.